When you get a problem involving simplified calculation, don't panic, don't rush. First, observe it and determine our approach based on its structure. Look here, how many terms are there? 1, 2, 3 terms, and they are all added together. Doesn't it seem like they want us to use the distributive property of multiplication? Since the person who set the question wants us to use the distributive property of multiplication, we need to find a common factor. Come on, let's take a look. Which common factor in this expression are you planning to find? Some teachers might say, I'll look for the integers. Let's look at the integers 39, 148, and 48. Can we combine them into a common factor? Isn't that quite difficult? So next, we notice that they all have a fraction. What is the denominator for all of them? Isn't it 149, 149, and 149? So I will transform this fraction into a common factor. And how should we change it? Take a look. 148 over 149. Look at the second term. There is a 148 in the integer part. Can I swap the positions of 148 and the numerator 86? At this point, the base remains unchanged, right? Okay, next let's look at the third term. Here we have 48 and here we have 74. If I want to turn it into 148, let's see, isn't 74 half of 148? In other words, 148 is twice 74. So where does this factor of 2 come from? It must come from this 48. How should we break down 48? Shouldn't we break it down into 24 multiplied by 2? Then if we combine the 2 and the 74, doesn't that become 148? Once we have the approach, let's start transforming this problem. Keep 148 over 149 as it is, then add, because 148 has appeared here, so replace 86, multiply by 1 over 149, move 148 up, and swap their positions. Okay, next let's add. At this point, if we break 48 down into 24 times 2, that's equivalent to multiplying 2 149ths by 74, which gives us 148, right? Great. So now we can factor out a common factor, and it should come out 148 149ths multiplied by the parentheses. For the first term, aren't we left with 39? For the second term, aren't we left with 86? And for the third term, aren't we left with 24? Come on, let's add them up. Come on, students, you must remember, when we add, we must remember to find the good friends, numbers that are easy to add together. Multiplication has its good friends, and addition has its good friends too. Don't just add them rigidly from left to right. Let's find the good friends. Look, 86 and 24 make 110, and 110 plus 39 makes 149, right? So inside the parentheses is 149. After simplifying, isn't the final result 148?